we have very preconceived notions at times. We think that all Kashmiris are silent terrorists. No. Basically, Kashmiris, and that's what they all said, they were being pulverized between militants and the military. I think I started writing this book 2005, October 29th. 2 days before Diwali and the festival of Eid, they were falling on the same day. And everybody was out for festivities in the markets of Delhi. And so was I with my husband. I was in Sarojini Nagar when a bomb blasted. Just 30 feet away from you. I'm here speaking to you, sitting here, because there was a sea of humanity. Otherwise, what are 30 feet? Many people in front of me who bore the brunt of the blast. And a series of bombs had blasted that day in Delhi. But of course, at that time there was little chaos. Everybody wanted to retreat from there, and we didn't know what had happened. Later, next day, through the news, I came to know that 40 people had died in that blast. Just 30 feet away from me, and I realized, what did terrorists get out of it? They killed people who they didn't even know, they hadn't ever spoken to. They, just killing uselessly. We have to make our voices heard. We have to say something about people who are suffering and people who are bringing about these sufferings. And that sowed the seed for writing Tears of Jhelum. Once I had finished writing Tears of Jhelum, I was not satisfied, so I went on to write further, and I wrote Despite Stolen Dreams. Yeah.
The diaspora and displaced persons from any one area to the other, whether it is Rohingyas, whether it's Assamese, whether it is the people that are now in the Middle East having to find new homes because of the unrest in their countries. There's a big difference between an immigrant and a refugee. And they all have a certain kind of fear and anxiety and the need to integrate as well as the need to hide. So I want to ask Vinita, because she is a specialist on human relationships, to tell us what she saw in this book that talks about relationships and how integration is possible, as well as how fear does it.
Okay, so I finished reading, much like Kanisa, I finished reading Anita's book in one sitting, and it was quite a long sitting at home, in the plane, and at night in the hotel, and I finished it at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I found it to be a beautiful book for a number of reasons. The main one being that I think it's like a miniature vision of life. Everything that happens in life kind of happens in this one book. And the second reason I really liked it is because it tells the story, as Anita also mentioned and Kanis did, it tells the story of displaced people, people who have been through tragedy, but people who have not given in to tragedy, and they have not allowed tragedy to subsume them, but they have risen above their situation, above their tragedy, and emerged stronger and better people. And the third reason I liked it is because she talks of a very strong bond of friendship through the book, and it's almost like that friendship, the friendship between a Muslim man, Wali Muhammad Khan, and Kashmira Singh, the Punjabi Sardarji that he meets. And it's a beautiful friendship. With his friendship kind of saves not just both these guys, but it saves a lot of many other desperate souls who are living around them. So these are the beautiful things that I saw in the book, and I really enjoyed that. About each other, but of course in the middle of that all is that love and friendliness. But why such a sorry picture out there?
Vinita, since you come from the media, all this news we get from the media. You open the newspaper every day in Delhi, and it is full of crime, majorly the murders and rapes and all that. Frankly telling you, and honestly, I've stopped reading the newspaper first thing in the morning. So that's one reason. And you see, if you ask any Delhiite, of course, I've also written that, yes, we have beautiful gardens and we have, top-class malls and restaurants to enjoy. But yes, in the middle of that, we also have a lot of chaos.
Yeah, it's true. It has a lot of sub-stories, which is again what a beautiful thing. Like there's this one big story, and then there are those smaller stories which happen in between. It's almost like you could tell a small story by itself, and it stands by itself. So that's really nice.
My observation about the book when I discussed it with Anita very quickly after reading it was it has a series of tectonic plates that the main story is dependent on the other layers of her plot. And there is love, there is friendship, there is neighborliness, there is also a situation where somebody is desperately alone, and Kashmira Singh and Wali, because they have got a certain kind of elation and ecstasy in friendship, they want to bring it to others. So this is a comment about life in Delhi as well as the solution. The solution is love. And
1 minute, because I just want to make one comment here. When you said there are tectonic plates, right? So, because I wanted to bring everyone together, like I said, I wanted to bind them, through my stories, where you may not even directly realize it, but I wanted to bind, and you see that they are all from different states, people living in that one building, so that becomes a mini India, and they are all, slowly and slowly they get so close together, like one big family, and that's what I want world to become. So
it's a solution. I mean, it's very sad when people create an atmosphere of a problem without suggesting the solution. In the corporate world, we're always told, don't tell us the problem, tell us the solution. And the solution is that find that love inside you and use it for everything that you have to do. And this book is a great supporter of every kind of integration. And I think that integration is what we're waiting for, but the story I will not tell you. The story you have to read yourselves.
there's a mystery also, the thrill and mystery behind it. Okay, only a couple of minutes. So I had chosen actually three passages which I really liked. One was when Wali is moving to Delhi and the fear he has in his mind about what he's going to encounter in Delhi in a new place. Or there was one dialogue by Kashmira Singh where he's wanting to, he is despite being an old man, he is very far-sighted and very open-hearted and I would say very rational. That's one voice. Which one would you like me to quickly read? Kashmira? Okay.
He's a favorite character.
Despite Wali being the protagonist, Kashmira somewhere steals the show.
Kashmira is the one that you really remember. He's the one who gives that strong.
Because he's the person of love.
So yeah, I'll read the passage now. Kashmira Singh waited for a response, but none came. Are religions meant to be boundaries separating love and friendship, Wali? Should cordial relations with fellow humans be the only tenet of all religions? Look at the heart we are born with. Isn't it amazing that a love for the entire world can be packed into such a small fist-sized organ? Isn't that a testimony in itself that there are no boundaries when it's the matter of the heart? Wali only cleared his throat, irritating Kashmira Singh with his silence. But no, Kashmira Singh smacked his fist on a bench. People want to break heart at every opportunity. They don't appreciate its worth. I'm Hindu, I'm Sikh, I'm Muslim, I'm Marathi, I'm Punjabi. Is there any end to this regionalism and to all these divisions? Why don't we just say I'm a human being? Kashmira seized Wali's shoulder and shook it. Love is the highest religion, yar. Understand that. But I do. Why are you getting so worked up, Kashmira ji? Oi, yar. Because I want you to understand it. Rab should have only given the emotion of love to mankind. I don't know why he had to create hatred, jealousy. He shook his head in disgust. I think that's enough. Enough touch of Kashmira Singh.
I I think the beautiful thing in the book, and I was very confused because I didn't know Anita's background. I was confused, is she a Kashmiri Pandit? Is she a Punjabi? Is she a Sikh girl? What? Because she has been able to get into the skin of each character, and the way she's worked out the dialect, as you just heard Kashmira saying "Oye yaar, rab," and also speaking in Thet Punjabi in many places like phrases and all. And similarly for the a Tamilian, she's got the exact pronunciation and the way she talks about how the English when he speaks in English, how he draws out the last word, the last letter, and then when she's talking about the Kashmiri she's talking about displacement, so she is actually living it. It was like, so I was very confused and I asked her this morning, how did you get under the skin of all the characters? Would you like to tell us that?
I think it comes naturally. When I start writing, I go into a deep, maybe trance, or I go into the characters. When I'm writing about the character, I sort of become that character at that
I
time.
can understand that. A lot of writers say this. Very interestingly, if you talk to authors, writers who write non-fiction, fiction, a lot of them say this, that we go into a trance when we are writing, and it's almost as if some other energy is kind of filtering through us, and the writing happens, it comes. It's like ideas and creativity is all universal, and we just are there, and it's like the creative people are able to pick up some of it and then translate it and give it out to the readers. It's beautiful.
The one thing I just want to maybe wind up with is, again, when you talked about people becoming homeless and how pundits starting from 1989 to 90, between that and 90, they became homeless. 3.5 lakh pundits had to flee from the valley, just few decades ago. And they were living in the camps, the refugee camps that had come up in various places. And I visited one in Delhi sometime in mid-90s. Peak winter time, I was in my coats and mufflers. And that picture of a small child, just in a tattered frock and nothing else, standing and shivering in that bitter cold of January, winters of Delhi. And that really broke my heart to see what we human beings do to other human beings. Like the Punjabi, that quote, I will quote, Aval Allah Nuru Paya, Kudrat de sab bande, Ek noor to sab chak upjya, Kaun pale, kaun bande. When we are all born from that same bright light of God, where is the question of some being higher or some being low? And I would also like to add one more thing, that when we all belong to this world, everybody has the right to enjoy. So what's the point? This is my land and this is your land, and we're fighting over that land and creating so much misery in the world, untold misery. Something has to be stopped. Our voices together has to be heard. And I would like you to carry that voice to the world.